if you needed a guy to step up in a certain role and do something for you, he was one of the guys that you would ask.
Yeah,
because
he's
he
Mr.
was willing
He'll
to
box
do
out. He'll
anything that was required for the
do
team.
whatever to get the person that needs the ball.
He wore a lot of hats.
He sure did. And his ball handling was great for
For
a sloppy
man,
big guy.
Mhm.
His intelligence is vastly underrated. He, like I said, when he was
Just because he looked like a meathead. If you
He
look at his
looked
face,
really
he looks
stupid.
like a meathead.
So does Peyton Manning.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not a meathead, but he looks like he's been hit in the head with something a couple times.
Yeah, big
Shovels.
guys.
Yeah.
You have hit him in the head multiple times.
But I think for me, statistics aren't as important as the eye test. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh no, that's stupid. You got
he's someone that made
statistics.
The team would be better with him on.
But again, going back to what you had said with Tim Duncan, those stats are crazy. Eye test is way better.
Right.
Because you got to look at like the bad teams he was on.
Yeah.
There were times when the Spurs were bad, but there were
still
also
hope because there was Timmy.
Yeah.
That's what I hope Porzingis can be, but we'll see.
For the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
Anyways, so my Hedo Turkoglu, also a fun name to say.
Yeah, I think you're just doing most underrated names. I don't know.
I actually might be. All right, Dan Beebe, who do you have for your most underrated power forward?
Larry Johnson of the Charlotte Hornets and New York Knicks.
Grandmama.
Yeah. Larry Johnson. We had some friends in high school. Well, a friend in high school that had a Larry Johnson jersey when he was with the Knicks. Yeah.
You figure, despite all the injuries he had, formidable player. I believe 1991 rookie season, averaged roughly 19 points a game. Was voted Rookie of the Year. Later on went with the Knicks, who he helped get to the finals in, was it 1999, I think, in the playoffs?
Yeah. And, don't forget, he had a stellar football career with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Not the same guy.
Oh, not the same guy.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, surprising.
That's curious.
Just an alias, maybe?
Maybe. All right, so let's go around the room and we'll give our power forward. Tony, yours was?
Billy Cunningham.
Chuckles?
Sean Kemp.
Dan O'Shea.
Timmy Dunks.
Mine was Hedo Turkoglu. Dan Beebe.
Two-time All-Star Larry Johnson.
All right, now let's move on to the small forward.
15-time All-Star Tim Duncan.
Okay.
No-time All-Star Hedo Turkoglu.
So my next selection was a 6-time All-Star, 2-time second-team All-NBA, Rookie of the Year 77. He was
77.
Yeah. He was 81 and 84 scoring title champion while shooting 55% from the field. Olympic gold medalist in 76. He was a three times in his career, he averaged 30 points a game while maintaining a 55% shooting percentage from the floor. One of only 3 people to do that, the other 2 being Kareem and Malone. And it's Adrian Dantley. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists per game.
I've never even heard of him.
Paragraph, and you have
I've never even heard of him.
Drafted by the Buffalo Braves.
I've heard of them.
Braves.
No way, that's a team.
It's not anymore.
Like
All right.
the Buffalo Braves.
What I found most impressive about him is the fact that you could win 2 scoring titles and average 30 points a game, but still shoot over 50% from the field. In a small forward position, you're putting the ball up.
Yeah, that is crazy. So, Chuckles, who have you got at small forward?
So I got a 7-time NBA champion.
Champion? Or
Yeah.
All-Star?
7-time NBA champion.
Brian Scalabrine?
No.
No?
No. 92-93 all-rookie team. I would have to say probably the person I kept on looking at the screen and been like, again? Was Big Shot Robert Horry.
Horry.
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Getting jiggy with it.
Yeah. But, and this goes back to the eye test too, and just straight up clutch. Like, every single finals.
Was it the finals against the Pistons that he hit like 3 game-winning shots?
Oh yeah, he was just unbelievable. It was always nonstop for him, and he was always that great 6th man. And during the game, he kept his defense going. Wasn't a high score, but if you needed that shot at the end, it was Robert Horry
coming out
And
that wild west.
They kept leaving him open was what baffled me. Like the first 2-3 times I can understand it, but when you like keep drifting off of this guy after he's proven it to you, why do you keep leaving him alone towards the end of the game?
It's not like he's gonna be like, oh, not this time, not this time. He won 7 championships. Like,
Well, I
that's
mean, I wouldn't say
unbelievable to me.
he won. He's probably won 1.5.
He was on the team of 7 champions.
He's won like 1.5.
But like,
That's solid.
oh man,
No, Robert Horry is 100% one of the most underrated,
oh.
and I overlooked him because he might have been, maybe not, because I think I got a really good one too. But Dan
Good
O'Shea, what do
choice.
you
I
have?
definitely overlooked him. I have, and it might be a bit of homerism, but Bernard King. 4-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team, third team, All-Rookie team, NBA scoring champion in 1985, yet still snubbed for the Hall of Fame. He tore his ACL in 85, and that was now a torn ACL. A lot of people can come back from and do, but back then it was a lot tougher to come back from.
What's his name? Fidel Castro came back from a torn ACL in like 3 days.
That's true. And, I think had he not torn that ACL then, he was on his way to become scoring champion, multiple
37 more
times and would have just
Definitely would have waltzed into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And, but even still, he was still a 20-plus point per game guy after that. He just wasn't, quite to the level that he was.
He's never quite the same, but I mean,
right.
Consistency, no one can argue that he was still there.
Right, and he just had continuous knee issues that just...
Well, in the NBA, that's almost a death sentence.
Yeah, exactly,
Especially
and
if
it
you're a
kind of
big guy.
was.
Yeah.
But he was a monster, and another one that's not really a household name.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He definitely deserves all of the accolades, but that he doesn't get. So my small forward, let me just read some of these. 2004 NBA champion, 4-time NBA All-Defensive Second Team, consensus Second Team All-American, Second Team All-American, Third Team All-American, 2001 SEC Player of the Year, 1998 State of California Mr. Basketball, 2008 Olympic gold medalist, 2007 FIBA America's Championship gold medalist. That is, going back to those Pistons, Tayshaun Prince.
Nice choice.
Yeah,
I didn't
that is
list King's
Good choice.
college things, but he was 3-time SEC Player of the Year
Yeah.
too. But yes,
Tayshaun Prince
sorry.
was not even just underrated in terms of all basketball. He was underrated from that starting 5. He was probably the one that gets forgotten about the most.
that is true.
Well, maybe not. I mean, Chauncey Billups is, obviously the
Easily.
Star.
Wallace,
Rick Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and and then Tayshaun Prince. I mean, you had Corliss Williamson, who came in off the bench, who I think is more memorable because of his name.
and I think I thought he was
Because
a better
he's
player in
physical.
Arkansas.
Yeah. So Tayshaun Prince, he's got a Hall of Fame resume,
Absolutely.
and definitely, one of, I guess maybe I have an affinity for him because I think that was the first NBA Finals that I really remember watching, the Pistons-Lakers, when the Pistons won. I remember, sitting on my bed with my basketball, tuning in to ABC to watch Ben Wallace and his crazy hair just win games.
Looks like he put his finger in an electrical socket.
Yeah,
I loved it.
yeah. He was another underrated.
He was.
I wouldn't say he
very
was
much
one of the most underrated because there's a lot of really good centers.
Yeah, there really are.
But he's definitely underrated. Rasheed Wallace is underrated as well,
I agree with that too.
as is Rick Hamilton. The whole team,
That whole
for
team,
being a
yeah,
championship team, is underrated.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're just remembered as
That's
a group.
the
They're not
championship
remembered
team
as
that history forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost the next year to the Spurs and Timmy D.
Timmy D. Coming for your life.
But yeah, that was a team that really had good camaraderie.
Oh yeah, definitely. Until they broke up like 2 years later, because Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace can stand each other.
They're talking about Chauncey Billups taking Griffin's job in Cleveland. Sorry, that was side topic. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Chauncey Billups is definitely the star of that group.
Could you imagine him as a GM right now? I think he could.
I don't
Players turn out to be well. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll get to that topic at some other time. But Dan Beebe, who do you have for your small forward?
I have former Portland Trailblazer and Houston Rocket Clyde Drexler.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
Clyde the Glide.
Love Clyde.
Love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Former 1992 Olympic basketball gold medalist for the U.S. We had one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. And over that, an immaculate career. He was drafted in 1983, 15-year career, 1995 NBA champion, 10-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA First Team 1992, 2-time All-NBA Second Team and Third Team, and number 22 retired by both the Trailblazers and the Rockets.
It's always nice to be retired by two teams. That's I think a sign of greatness in and of itself.
Yeah.
NBA
Sure.
50th anniversary all-time team.
Until you become Michael Jordan, having him retired on every team. or
That's
what's his
true.
name? Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a good group of small forwards. Let's just recap them. Tony, who have you got?
Adrian Dantley.
I still don't know who that is.
Google him.
Robert Horry.
Bernard King.
Tayshaun Prince, the king.
Clyde Drexler.
Is a good round. Now we're going to move on to shooting guard. And this, I think, is going to be the one where when I give the name, all of you guys are going to be like, you're an idiot. But let's start again with Tony. Tony, who you got at shooting guard?
Mine is probably the highest rated, underrated person I have. That being said, he was also in a era with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robinson, but it's John Havlicek.
John Havlicek.
8-time champion, 13-time All-Star, 4-time NBA first team, 7-time NBA second team, 5-time defensive first team, 3-time defensive second team, 74 finals MVP. He is still the leader of the Boston Celtics all-time scoring with 26,395 points, and he did it all before the three-pointer was allowed.
That's
It's
impressive.
interesting, yeah.
Finished with 21 points, average a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. What I find most impressive is still leads the Celtics in points, considering Bird, Pierce, McHale, everybody that's walked through this team, and he still leads the team in points.
Yeah, but if there's one
You think
thing
he was
that...
underrated at his time, or you think he's just kind of forgotten?
I think he's forgotten, but I also think when you think back to the 70s, there were so many good players that were in the league that, I mean, he had Bill Russell on his team. I mean, there were a lot of people that you wouldn't think he wasn't the first one that came to your mind, just with how much talent there was in the league at the time. So I think he was probably a little bit undervalued then, but I think he's very much forgotten now as good as he was at that time. And I mean, who knows how many points more he could have had if, God forbid, they had three-pointers out there.
Well, the one thing that I do want to bring up about the whole all-time leading scorer in Celtics history, you know, after the 80s and into the 90s, you really started seeing the Celtics, like, cycling through people a lot more.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure,
even stars, they were quick to get rid of.
With Walker, they had for a deep round. Yeah, they definitely went.
But
through
you
a lot
would
of
think,
players very quickly.
with names like Bird that came after him and McHale or Pierce that had such long careers in Boston that
someone
that
might have
record
topped
would
that.
have come down at some point. But the fact that it's still standing here 50 years almost now later.
Yeah, but
Very impressive.
with Pierce, I hate, playing devil's advocate, but here I am. With Pierce playing almost his entire career in Boston, like he played second fiddle for quite a bit of it.
Oh no, I agree.
And I think having the concept of the big three really killed
His
that.
chance at being able to do